As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes I'm an entrepreneur. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and the Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And Crystal, how are you doing today?
I am good. It's been a busy, crazy week as usual. We got through it. We got through a voting on an election, and that turned out great. I'm very proud of our California residents that went out and voted to not overturn the
that
governor.
Was a big surprise, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, the lunatic that was running, or his opponent, was probably what turned the tables for him, was because that was truly the lesser of the two evils.
I was unhappy with the governor too, because I didn't get my damn unemployment check. I didn't get any money, man, during the pandemic. I'm trying to access the state unemployment system.
I don't understand why you didn't get anything.
I don't know. I just didn't get one. And then when I keep following up and call a toll-free number that they had, then they tell me, "Oh, your account was involved in fraud, so we're gonna have to investigate." I'm going, what?
Oh, is that what happened to you?
Man, I think they just tell everybody that because they don't want to give us any money.
Because now it's possible, Gilbert, because there was fraud going on in the very early on of the process. There were people doing some interesting things. So it's possible. I mean, folks was, let me see. I've got, Greg is trying to get in. Let me get him in. Yeah, so it's very possible, but I don't know. That's because I made sure, well, I did up until the point when it was no more need. I didn't need it anymore, but I got that. You didn't apply for any of the other lovely things?
I applied for everything through the state, and I didn't get a penny. So I wasn't too happy with the governor for that. But but although I wasn't happy about that, I didn't want to recall him for that. So
yeah.
So
well, I don't know if that was necessarily him. I think that was other bodies that maybe had something to do with that.
Yeah. I think they could have handled it better, man, because they know because people are complaining. People are getting on the news and talking about, they can't get their checks and all kinds of stuff. So we kind of expected them to handle it better, but that didn't happen, it didn't happen at all. But it wasn't enough, even though I was ticked off, it wasn't enough for me to recall him for that.
Yeah. I think that, let me tell Greg that I am sending it again. I don't know if that was, again, I don't know if that was him.
Do you want me to forward him the link that I just sent?
I just sent it to him, via email. I think that was more the entities, the banks. Here's what, just based upon Colette, Colette Moore from PCR.
Yeah.
She, they were learning as they were going, which is why, I started why we launched the community briefing, because I wanted to make sure as they were going through the changes, we knew what the changes were in live, at least weekly. But I'm so sorry you didn't get anything.
Man, I didn't get any money, man. I'm going, man, I've been sitting here every day waiting for my money. Nothing. Call the governor. They're going, the governor's too busy. Can't talk to you right now. I'm going, man, where is my money, governor? So And then when they start this recall, I'm going, man, I know I'm pissed at him, but I don't think I'm pissed at him that much to have him recalled.
And, you know, they spent $250,000 for this recall, which really wasn't about anything, because what he did, I think he did the right thing. If we had just imagine if he had not shut down the city
Yeah.
the way he did. Just
Right.
imagine where we
Yeah.
would be right now. We're
Yeah.
not like, Mississippi and Alabama and Florida, where we're
Yeah.
walking a toxic dump,
Right.
virus dump. If he hadn't have done that, that's really where we would have ended up. So you can't fault the man for trying to keep us alive.
That's right. There's Carlos right there. There's
Yeah, there's
FYI.
Carlos.
Hey,
Hey, Carlos.
FYI.
So I didn't
Yeah,
do.
because here's the deal, though. I think this is their next best effort, because you know what they did with the general election, right? They did that bogus, fraudulent election thing, right? So
Yeah.
this is a next step to that by recalling someone, to say,
Yeah.
hey, we're not happy with the result. Let's recall them.
But so every time you're unhappy with a politician,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're gonna just go through
Yeah.
$250,000 to recall them. I mean, come on,
they don't care. They don't mind burning down the house and killing everyone just to get to one person. They don't care.
I mean, I just think that's just insane, and the amount of money that was spent in order to do that, when his election the election for that office is going to be in a year. That was ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
That's
and that puts him in a better position to be reelected, and also you heard they're trying to do the same thing in Pennsylvania. They're trying to claim fraud, and they want to recount the votes and all of that. And this is for the general election. They're still going through that in Pennsylvania.
So I mean, none of that makes sense to me. That is just like waste. That's just a waste when there's so many. And here's the thing. When things are going on, why are you not writing letters? Why are you not? And first of all, it's not your governor. You have a whole slew of people that are within your local city that you need to get to before you get to the governor. And then if you send and your letters and complaints and whatever that is you're doing to all of them, all the way from your local congressperson, your assembly person, all the way up to the then up to your mayor, and keep going, then they're going to start to put the pressure on the governor. That's the way it should work. You got a hierarchy to get to those individuals. Hey, Greg, I just sent you the link. So go into your email and pull up the visitation link.
Hey, Greg, that's the Jamaican baseball bat effort you're getting there. We're muscling you today.
Waiting for I just sent you another one. Try that one. Carlos came in on the same one. He's here.
Yeah, Carlos is here. Carlos is an early bird, man. We're gonna have to fire you, Greg.
No, we have to assume that he got the wrong number.
There he is.
So we're gonna finish up our little dissertation here, guys, and then we'll bring you both on. But that, to me, there's he can live chat. There is so many ways that you can go about this before you get to the governor and before you start talking about recalling. But here's the issue: if you're just upset because okay, had the wrong street address. If you're upset because they won't do what you want them to do, that's like telling your mother or your father, you're having a tantrum. That's basically what's happening. They're having a tantrum.
That's exactly what it is, because they're doing the same thing to the governor of Virginia. They're doing a recall on him too.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just ridiculous, like, really,
man. It's ridiculous.
This is just ridiculous. But we are living in some ridiculous times, though.
Yeah, we are, man. I just think that the general public needs to be more knowledgeable, because they're acting
really ignorant when it comes to these elections and politics and all of that. See, I don't really care for any of them. I don't care for any of the politicians because they all say the same thing, they all do the same thing, and they all shut us out. Look at that one down in New York. That woman, what's her name, Silver or whatever, or Rice?
Yeah.
That's her name. She went in on the backs of the people by saying that she's going to fight for lower costs of medication and drugs and all that. Now she got in there. She's trying to block any effort to help poor people get their drug prices reduced.
Right.
I'm
Because
going,
they all
come
have
on.
a different agenda. Our guest is saying that in the green room we didn't stock up refreshments.
Man, actually, we put a lot of refreshment in there, Greg. You know who ate it? Carlos. Carlos ate it. He was there before you. He ate it all.
and Carlos is looking for the bar. We have to better equip the green room, the virtual green room.
We're gonna have to hire. Crystal just fired the green room person, so
There
we're gonna
you
have
go.
to hire
They were
someone.
doing. I have to. We're rehiring for next week, guys. But yeah. But anyway, the good thing is the people came out. They did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so that was a good thing. That was probably the highlight of the week. Because
that would have been a domino effect, right? If the other side got in, because the first thing they would do is try to suppress the vote for the next election. Then they would try to deal with this Roe versus Wade thing, try to get that on the table too. And then everything else, immigration, they would try to mess that up. So there's a whole list of stuff they were planning on doing. So
they wanted to turn the state. Their thought process was to turn the state red.
Yeah.
Well, what did I hear? The numbers were like 85%, or it could even be higher, are Democrats in the state of California.
Yeah.
So that would be a whole lot of turning red.
Yeah.
And if you looked at the map, it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The areas that did vote yes was Fresno, Marin County.
Up there
near Oregon.
Yeah.
I was surprised that Orange County wasn't.
I know.
They weren't saying yes. It was more Bakersfield and places like that. So not enough people living in those areas to really make a big difference. But
see, that's why they call them low information voters, because they don't have information on the process and candidates and what's going on. So they just go out there and a little fake news they hear, they regurgitate it. You see what I mean?
Yeah, right, exactly. Just crazy. It's just insane. The lack of, I guess, since the previous presidency, it's been an eye-opening experience to see the lack of information that American citizens and where they get their news, and the lack of information that they have, and how easy they will use a rumor as a true factor, and then go in with everything. They go in with both feet, arms, legs, arms. They drag some other people in, and none of it's true. So it's really, really important. Carlos says he on the right show. Yes, Carlos, you're on the right show. So with
that being said, Carlos, we're going to introduce Carlos of F.Y.I. Technology.
So we got Carlos coming in with a technology tip and some resources, and then we have Mr. Gregory Sneed coming on today. Because in addition to not having information, and both of these guys are informational people, we don't have technical information. We don't operate in that space when we should be. And secondly, we're going to talk about financial literacy, but from the business aspect, because a lot of people are in the dark on how money works, especially for their business.
Sound like a plan to me.
So that's our plan today. So we're gonna bring in both our guys, and then we're gonna let Carlos give us some resources today. So let me get my little My mouse is acting a little crazy today. It's a little
Your mouse
errant.
needs some cheese.
It needs some cheese. Hello, Carlos. How are
Mr.
you
Carlos,
today?
welcome to the Business Zone, sir.
Hey, what's happening, peeps?
Man,
Hey.
nothing much, man. Nothing much. Hey, I got a compliment for you, man. So
How's that?
a friend of mine showed me this website that you did for him, and it looks great. I'm going, how come Carlos didn't do this for me? How come my site don't look like this? So I just want, it's a compliment and a complaint.
my backhanded compliment, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Backhanded compliment. Don't you just love those? And then
Oh.
we have Mr. Greg Sneed. Since you guys were interacting with each other so well, Greg, when you were on before Carlos and Greg was on the chat, we just decided to bring both of you on at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a party now, right?
So
You're getting a little rowdy back there, huh?
so you can stop talking smack about us, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Sneed is our Jamaican ragamuffin mafia, right? So
Yeah, man.
we need to have any dirty work done, man. We just reach out to Mr. Sneed and he'll take care of business for us.
He get that financial stuff taken care of.
Yeah.
So yesterday, in the other program, I was introducing one of our guests, and he's got real estate, he's got a newspaper, he does construction. He's like, hey man,
he's Jamaican.
he got 10 jobs, and that skit now is Crystal and I were talking yesterday. That skit now is 30 years old.
Oh man.
From
and he got 10 jobs, right?
yeah.
No, I feel lazy. I feel lazy now because I don't have 10. I only have 4.
I had to go find it on YouTube.
Man, I feel lazy because I only have 4 jobs. He's got 10.
Yeah, I got
Wasn't that the famous the skits from what was the show, man? In Living Color, right?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that in a long time.
There you go.
Hey man, you're lazy, man. You're lazy. You only have
10 job a day, keep a doctor away.
But
I'm likewise. I'm a proctologist, a dermatologist, a gynecologist, cardiologist, a brain surgeon, an eye surgeon, a nose, ear, throat man, and I also help run the flower shop.
I love it.
But don't we all have 10 jobs nowadays? That's the way you survive.
You can't survive on one, man. That's the reality, right? Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
you cannot survive on one, so you have to have 10 jobs. Carlos, I'm going to send you over the link to pair. Is that what you're asking for? The pair?
Yes, I can just share it out right now too for you guys.
Okay, I'm going to send it over to you.
So I tell everybody I'm the CEO, which is the chief everything officer.
I love that. That's my new title. The chief everything officer.
Chief everything.
That's what I
Chief
tell my
financial,
students.
chief technical. Yeah.
That's what I tell my students when I say, well, okay, so you're looking to be a new entrepreneur. Let me just tell you all of the number of hats that you got to wear.
Uh-huh.
All right, Carlos.
So Carlos, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, sir, in the IT space. Quite a few of our viewers in the last show, they really love what you had to say about websites and security and all of that. So let us know if anything new happened.
Let me tell you, we kind of talked a little bit briefly about security last time regarding websites, but I'm going to continue kind of down that path, but more in the general sense of securing your devices, securing your offices and all of that. So I'm going to tell you what some of the trends are right now too.
Yeah.
I think a few months ago, even about a year ago, we were looking at, a lot of the bigger companies were getting hacked and all of this stuff too. Well, the focus has shifted more to the low-hanging fruit, which is the smaller businesses, people getting started that don't know any better, right?
Yeah.
One of the key questions I've asked over and over again in some of the cybersecurity trainings I've conducted is very simple, right? Any device that you buy, or even your router that gets installed from whoever your provider is, how many people really change the password that comes with the default of it, right? Even on your copier, even on your printer, some of this stuff that's by default, you can literally get a hold of the information at your fingertips without you even knowing. And most people don't know any better. So it creates all of these holes even in your home environment. So I say this because of COVID, we know that we now have somewhat of a hybrid model. People working from home, switching offices back home as opposed to regular office space as well too. But people are forgetting to make sure that they're updating their systems or their passwords for that as well too, man. So I'm seeing a little bit more and more of a spike on that. So folks need to be aware. If you don't know, reach out to any one of us and we can provide you with the free assessment on there and let you know where you need to plug in some of those holes. Because it doesn't matter if you have an alarm system, if you leave one window open or a door open, right? Somebody's going to. So you have to make sure everything is locked up and all that. So
how often should you change your passwords, Carlos?
There's really you're supposed to be doing it like every 6 months, but realistically, who has time to do that, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that you need to be aware of, there's programs out there that'll maintain your passwords and they'll generate these encrypted passwords, right? So folks know as well too that things that I use, almost every password I have is at least 20 characters or more. Am I going to remember 20 characters or more? Heck no, right? It's impossible. But that's why we also have applications or things that we can do that makes it a lot harder for hackers to try to get that as well too. So if you have one of these long encrypted passwords, you don't have to change them as often unless your email or something comes up on the dark web or you're not monitoring it. Then that may be a time for you to be able to do that. But it's not really your issue. It's more where you put in your email and where you put in that password when you're utilizing it that you're going to have to change it once the other party is exposed. Does that make sense?
Where you can make a lot of money, Carlos? If you can install a system in their computer where it will automatically change the password every 6 months or 3 months, just warn them first and say, hey, time to change your password. You want to go ahead and change the password here, or we can change it for you.
Right. And that's a great point, man. But I'm going to tell you, having done that too and writing scripts for folks, you got to remember that people are so tied into their day. They don't remember that, hey, this is the last Saturday of the month. My password is going to change, and they forget, right? So when they get locked out, then they get frustrated because, oops, I forgot to put it on my calendar, or I forgot I was going to do this. Yeah. Or if you have them write it down, how many times have you gone or talked to somebody where they'll tell you, I don't know what my password is. I wrote it down somewhere and I don't even know where it's at.
Oh yeah, I get that every day with Small Biz Pro, man. A lot of people. Yeah, so I just say just hit the forgot password thing, because see, that would be a good trigger right there, Carlos. Because if the system automatically changes it for you, right? Now you can't get in, so when you try to log in, you just hit forgot password, and then it forces you to change it. So 6 of one, half a dozen is the same.
Right? No, you're absolutely right. But again, remember that most people will not take the time to use something very valuable or encrypted. So when you're in a hurry and I forget my password, what's your initial gut or your initial reaction to go back to an old password you used before, which was the whole purpose of you changing it in the first place.
Exactly. Because you got to go with the quick and easy. Right. So a lot of platforms now, I know, like with Minds, I have to put in a login, a new code. So it sends code through my email. I think my Facebook does that. Any of my financial platforms do that every time. And then if I'm logging in on different computers or my phone or my tablet, then I have to go through this whole purpose. And lately I've noticed every time I come into Gmail, I have to go through I set up a two-step authorization. Yeah. Or even an authenticator. So how safe are those?
Those actually, that's another layer of protection, right? Greg, I think are you in the IT space, man? I don't mean to talk over you, dude, if you know a lot of this stuff anyway, but.
No, I'm a financial guy, and I got into it many years ago because I was working for a corporate, but I was in a remote location, and they didn't have the budget for IT support. So they sent me a 300-page DOS manual. This is how far back that goes. And they said, here's your support.
So that's where he got indoctrinated into the Jamaican culture because they gave him an extra job. He didn't even know it.
Here's your support.
The DOS menu was like the hieroglyphics of computers back then.
This is all before Windows and WYSIWYG. Yeah, so
you know,
long haul.
You know, if you talk to any of these millennials now, they don't know what DOS is. They're going, "What the hell is DOS?"
Right, exactly.
They don't even know what a floppy disk is. What the heck is that? You know?
No, I just dove in and you know, I feel it's important, and so I brush up on things, and you know,
you figured it out.
And I was even checking a couple days ago. There's a website where you can check if your password or your email has been hacked or leaked. There's one that I use called Cyber News. And you can put in there and see if your email, email, they'll check that as well. But you can check your password and you put it in there and see if it's a clean password, or if it's been compromised. And then I was reading something about passphrases instead of passwords. What do you think about that, Carlos?
So let me kind of tell you a little bit about those websites you're talking about. So you got to be real careful, right? Because once you're there and you put in a password, that's how they get you too. So now there's a password. They're going to find an association with that password. They have to put in your email and all that. So you just gave them the keys to the kingdom. So I'm not saying all of them. So there's ways that you can monitor your email without having to put in the passwords. So there are websites though that you can put in let's say you don't have this password on something, that you can actually see how long it would take a hacker to crack. And when I go on some of these sites to test things out, it's a matter of more testing by characters, right? So the standard password is usually 8 characters or more. Well, if I have 8 characters, how long is that going to take a hacker to do? It may take them 3 months to do it. If I have 15, it'll take them this much, and so forth, right? But I'm not giving away some of these passwords too. So you have to be real careful with that too. Passphrases have always been great. But you also got to remember, depending on the platform, it may not accept characters, it may not accept spaces, it may not accept some of the other stuff as well. I've utilized before. I remember utilizing sometimes different URLs, or custom URLs that you can put in there that would make a great password. But utilizing some of the password generators or where I keep all of my password stuff, I've been happy using that and just creating these 20+ characters at a time.
Let me give you a surefire, secure way of creating passwords, okay? And make sure you guys write this down, all right? I go in front of my keyboard like this, okay? I close my eyes, and just start hitting characters and numbers, right? Until I get like 11 of them. And then once I get 11 of them, then that's what I write down, and that's what I use as my password. Okay, that's a surefire. That's a surefire
drink, man. You're scaring me, dude.
just close your eyes and just hit them. Hit the characters.
Well,
yeah, that's Jamaican internet security. That's the island way. Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, that works. That works for me every time.
So that the next time I close my eyes, now I'm going to just see Gilbert like this.
like the mad password scientist.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Man.
That explains some of the emails you've sent out, right?
Right. I use a password keeper, and I pay for it to make sure that it's all encrypted. And so I try to make sure that every time I change, and I do try to change on a regular basis. Some sites actually encourage that, and the way they do that is you go there and go like, what happened to my password? It's not working, so then you have to create a new one.
I don't want to get too close, but here's mine right here. Right? I don't know how you zoom in, but
how did you create that, Greg? Did you do the technique here? Is that how you did it?
Okay, I feel like I'm being punked, right? So I'm waiting for a camera to come out, right? You guys are just testing it, right?
No, I think they're serious, Carlos.
Oh my gosh. Tell me it ain't so, man. Come on.
They're written down here in this book. I don't have them stored anywhere electronically.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I have mine electronically, and then I go in and I make sure I update it so I won't forget, because I have to.
No, it gets better.
What?
He's
These
got a
are
folder.
passwords.
He's got a folder.
These are the passwords.
God.
And this may go back about 20 years.
Carlos, you're being punked, man. You're being punked.
Dude, if you actually stare, my beard is actually turning gray as we speak, man.
It actually goes back to 2010. So this is,
Wow. Oh, you guys are killing me, man.
so this is, they hacked this, okay? Good enough with that.
Okay, so at least you have some. You can recycle all the way back to 2010.
Okay, but on a serious note, though, right?
Yeah,
what happens? God forbid, if there's a fire, there goes your password.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I get what a lot of there's a lot of folks that keep those separately. They handwrite them because they don't want to do anything electronically. I think some of the apps, like you were talking about, Crystal, too, like for mine too, that has all my passwords. It tells you also if something's been breached, it'll tell you to update it. It's already updated, so it kind of gives you those reminders.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, nothing is 100% secure. And even though as much encryption and as much things as you are going to put on there, the two-factor authentication and all of that, you're still in a cyberspace, in a cyber world.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of these hackers, are just brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to give them credit. These guys are just brilliant. And
that's what they do every day, man.
That's what they do every day. So you got to give them props for that. Now, if they use that to do good and all of that, then that'd be a whole different ball game. But
Yeah.
you got to remember that technology is great, man. But you try to create as many layers as possible for you to be safe before they get to your domain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right, because I think we're so much more dependent than we used to be before. I mean, now, especially with our cell phones, right? How vulnerable are we with our cell phones? Because everything we have is within that phone. We don't even know numbers, but all our personal information is there. Our social media, we probably have logged into so many other places on a regular basis. It always marvels me, how fast they can clone your Facebook page or your Instagram account. And if you don't have an attentive network, I remember when they cloned my Instagram. Well, my people know me, and they know how I speak. And so it was like within seconds, I was getting email going, somebody cloned you, Crystal. So that's not you. And so I was able to fix it real quickly. But, and I've noticed a pattern that older people, they're like guinea pigs or just targets. Yeah. And if you haven't been on your social media for a long time, you could be guaranteed somebody gonna clone you because you haven't been there.
That's a good point, Crystal. And I recommend people go and just do a search in Facebook. Just put your name in there and see how many times your names come up, because that's the amount of copies they made of your account, right? Mm-hmm. So I went on there one time. I was trying to just fool around and see what I put my name in. There were like 15 of my name in there. I'm going, what? And then I checked every one of them. They were all fake. So check it, man. If you're on Facebook, you guys should check it out, because you never know.
It was 15 based on each job you had. Wasn't that the
exactly.
Sorry, man. I had to go there.
That's exactly one for each job, man. That's it, man.
Oh, that cracks me up, man. See what you started?
See what you started, Greg? Yeah. You're responsible for this.
But yeah, I think security is highly important. In my business, because of the accounting and the bookkeeping I do, of course, I have passwords for my clients. and I have to keep that housed somewhere in order, not on paper though, in order for me to go into their accounts in order to do their books. And so I had to use an electronic device, a tool in order to do that. There's no way. I can't even remember my own, let alone everybody else's.
Yeah. I hear you, man. I hear
So
you.
there's some, so you do that. Any other tips that we need to know about, Carlos?
No, just be aware, man. The spamming and the phishing emails.
Yes.
Don't open it. Don't click on a link if you don't know what it is. And more importantly, if you don't know how secure your system is, let us know. I will help out. You know?
Now, what about because the new tool is receiving SMS texts. So can they do the same damage that if you open up one in your email address?
So I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not saying this because it's not going to be Apple versus Android war. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's different platforms on there, but the reality is when it comes to the iOS devices from Apple, they're a little bit better secure than when it comes to Android and the platform. Remember, Android was built on open source, right? So there's a lot of content out there that's not really being as filtered as it should be. But if they actually have the filtering just like Apple would in their sandbox, it'd be a different story. So to answer your question, texting usually within your device. It's also good to make sure that you have a VPN for your phone. Make sure you also have, specifically also for Android devices, you have antivirus software on there and things that are going to pick up or detect those links that are going to block it for you before you get into trouble with it. You know what I mean?
And now that you mentioned that, Carlos, I want to put this out there for our viewers too. I receive a lot of texts on my phone, and it's from numbers I don't know. They don't have a name, just numbers, right? And then they send you a link. Those are the links that take over your phone. So when if you see a text come in from a number that you don't know, don't even open it. I just delete it immediately and then block the number. So just want to share that with the audience, man.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing that to take over your phone and make your phone start doing things that, you know, like going into your address book, checking for credit card numbers, all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I have on mine, I have phone blockers. So spam blockers.
Yeah.
And telemarketer blockers. So I have those on my phone.
I get those spam calls every day, man.
Everybody does. How many ways have you got?
Crystal, don't forget that your car warranty is coming up for expiration.
Yeah, exactly.
How many times have you?
I'm disappointed that it's bots now, because when it's live people, I love toying with them.
Yeah, exactly.
I have fun with them. I was like, speak up, I can't hear you. And then they're screaming and
then you say, wait a second. Hold a second, please.
But I did see a guy, I heard it was on the news a couple weeks ago, a guy created a software that I think it's called Kill the Bots or something. And so when they call in, it actually will call that number every 30 seconds.
I love it. I love it.
And for like 20 minutes, every 30 seconds, it'll keep calling that number until it frustrates the hell out of the system, backs the system up. They can't call it. But yes, I saw it. But I did see a cute Facebook meme where a bottle rolled up on the beach. And in the bottle, when the note came out, it says, you need to redo your you need to upgrade your warranty.
Oh man.
Yes.
I'll share one tip with you. The bots are looking for or listening for the word hello.
Are they?
So I pick up and I'll say good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good morning. This is Greg. And the bot doesn't pick up on it.
It doesn't know what to say.
It's still waiting for the word hello.
And I didn't know that, but all I do is open it up and I just sit there and be as quiet as they are. And eventually they just hang up.
And here's the other one. You, at all cost, avoid saying the word yes.
Oh, that means they'll go
Because
to
what
the
they're
next-
doing is that they record you saying the word yes. Then they can stitch it into, do you agree to these terms? And it's your voice saying yes.
Yes.
So there's one now with Spectrum. They keep calling, are you happy with your service?
No.
Trying to get rid of them. So you're going to say yes.
Right.
Can you hear me? So
Yes.
I say, no, I can't hear you. Oh, thank you. It's like, okay, yeah. So those are some of the tricks. Do not say the word yes and don't say hello.
You know what I do, Greg? You know what I do when it's a live person on there? When I pick up and I hear start speaking in what I call African language. They're going, huh, sir? I'm going,
Oh man.
See, Gilbert and I do the same thing. If I get a live person on phone, oh man.
But you know what kills me? When you get that live person and you tell them, take me off your list, and then they get pissy with you, right? They get indignant, and it's like, then they get pissed off, and they start, it's like, you called me, I didn't call you.
Right.
Leave me alone. You know?
Now, did the do not disturb, remember when we had the do not disturb, did that just go away? Is that what happened?
Do not call?
Yeah, do not call.
It doesn't work anymore.
Well, okay, so remember the do not call registry, right? You put your phone number, your cell phone, and all that.
Yeah.
That's still on, but realistically, who monitors that?
I know. No.
The legitimate companies,
People out there.
the legitimate companies have to honor it, but the ones who are illegitimate and are spoofing caller ID.
Yeah.
You know which one I get every day? We got some Indian dude calling me. I'm calling from the Social Security office. I'm going, what? Your Social Security number was compromised. Call us back at what 1-800 and we'll fix it. I'm going, dude, I'm not calling you back. You're the criminal.
So here's a funny one I'll share with you that, and actually just read this somewhere that a hacker actually got really fed up with all of these robocalls and all of that, or the people that he posed as an older lady, and it was, I think it might have been one of the Microsoft pop-ups to call your system infected. Yeah. So what he did on purpose was he pretended to be an elderly person on there. Yeah. The guy's going, the whole spiel. You need to download this, and so he's playing along. Yeah. And what he did was, once he downloaded that, the guy was in the system. He actually ended up hacking him and deleting all of his data. And this is true. And the guy was so pissed off from the other side, was like, why would you do that? Because it's the same reason why you're trying to do to me. And he was going on about, can you please bring it back? And this and that. It's like, no, now you learned your lesson. You don't do that with people.
I love it, man.
I was like, great, one for the good guys.
I wish I had that power, man. Believe me.
Yeah. Because it's very annoying. One, you're trying to do business and you have all these crazy people calling you, trying to hack you. And then you got to worry about your email and in the spam area and not clicking on something. And they become very clever. I mean, they'll had a subject title that, because of AI, everyone kind of duplicates what you're looking for or what you're, that's what the computer does, right? It copies and mimics out your likes and your dislikes. Google is excellent at that sort of stuff. So you get an email and it's like, oh, wow, I was just looking for that. And all of a sudden it pops up and bam, you could easily be allowing someone entry into your system.
Going back to what Greg said earlier, right? That with the warranty people. So they'll call you, right? And you say, I'm not interested. They'll call you a minute later with a different number. Why are you calling me? They'll call you again another with a different number. I don't know how they do this thing, man. So Greg, can you shed some light on this thing with these warranty people?
Well, the vehicle warranty is really, most of the time it's a bot or it's a person. And you hang up. I work in sales. Yeah. So the phone rings. If it's a local, if it's the multiple area codes in our, LA County area, I pick up. Yeah. If it's out of state, I let it go to voicemail.
Right. But they got smarter now. They're now using the LA phone number area code. They're using 213 and 323.
Well, if it's the exact area code and exchange of my number, I know that's a spoof.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if it's a local number, yeah, I'm picking up the phone because quite often it's a sales call or it's a referral, and it's just part of the day. You just
It's part of the day.
just
So-
don't say hello. Good
so-
morning, this is Greg. Good afternoon, this is Greg. That beats a lot of.
So, speaking of that, Greg, since you're in the financial space, right? When your clients call you up and they're trying to set up an account, how does that work? I mean, because with IT stuff, people want to put information online. How do you deal with that? Do you discourage them from doing that? How does that work?
When they want to set up, an account with
the financial, like a retirement account, right? And they're going, hey, I want to access my account. I mean, how do you deal with that online? Do you set up their account live, or how do you do it?
I tell you what, give me a call and let's set you up with an account, and you'll see how it works.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Go ahead, Crystal.
But it's so important because our business owners, again, most of our business owners are so busy working in their business, and they're so tech. I hear so many people, and I think it almost is setting you up when people say I'm tech illiterate. Automatically, if you're saying that in a public environment, you're like setting yourself up for anyone to invade your space, because you really truly are tech literate. So I think it behooves everyone to at least understand the basics of how it works, especially since we've been using computers, for 40, 50 years now, 40 years for at least.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I won't have a client email me their social security number.
Right.
And if it's a form, I tell them leave it blank, and then call me or text me the number, but don't say, here's my social.
Right.
Make it look like, the product number you're looking for is, I'll tell them that. The product number you're looking for, and don't put the standard dashes between.
Yeah, that's a good approach.
Was it 324?
That's
format. So I do things like that. And believe it or not, a lot of information that I'm sending to their insurance companies, I'm still using old-fashioned fax. I've got a fax machine here, and they will not, the life insurance companies will not receive any information via email if it has a client's social. So their email programs are set up to bounce it back.
So you have to send it by fax?
What's a fax? Sorry.
I love it.
It's interesting.
I'm trying to think of the name of the detective from Dragnet. It was just the fax man.
Just the fax man.
Just the fax.
But there's since COVID and so many people are working remotely, a lot of our professional information is being sent via email and texts and things like that, because you weren't good. There was no one in an office, and most homes don't have a fax machine. So it is like we're completely, and you can verify this, Carlos, we are almost completely tech dependent now, aren't we?
Yeah. And because they need the help, they have no choice but to put their information in there, and they just become sitting ducks. It's unbelievable, man. The biggest thing I'm hearing lately is those PPP loan scammers. People who act like they can help people to package their PPP loan, but what they're doing is stealing their social security number, their bank account number, and all of those things, and accessing their information and their money.
And that was why I was today when I was talking to Greg about our topic is the financial literacy and from a business standpoint, right? Because we think in a business environment that everybody's up and up. It's not like we're at home and this is our personal stuff, but there's such a lack of information that even our business people have. Even doing the PPP, a lot of them didn't get those relief packages because they didn't even understand. They didn't understand profit and loss statements. They didn't understand balance sheets. They don't understand anything. What are some of your because Greg is actually a financial literacy coach, and he created a business based upon that. So what are some of the things that you've noticed and the reason why you started your business, Greg?
Well, I find that a lot of people, they may know things about money, but they're not financially literate or don't understand how it all pulls together. And also, things were on paper. You're getting bills and statements on paper. Now everything's online.
Yeah.
I was just trying to find my cable bill because I'm looking at it. My Spectrum. Spectrum is going back up again because their promotion expires. And I was like, how does this get back up there? Yeah. And I'm looking for a bill. I don't have a bill because it's paperless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy to lose track of your money. How many people still get a paper bank statement? It's all online.
Not too many.
Right.
I still get my paper.
I still do because I'm old school, and they keep trying to force you to paperless. So if you don't physically see it in front of you, that's the challenge. That's the trouble.
Yeah.
And business owners may not have a dashboard. They might have an accountant that's preparing financial statements for them, or maybe a P&L. They're lucky if they have a balance sheet. Crystal, a lot of companies aren't bank ready, so they're not looking at that. But that's the challenge. You want to be able to see all of your information in a dashboard. And I was discovering how many of my clients, individuals, and they didn't have it. And I was like, okay, well, that's not too surprising. But I started talking to business owners and was surprised that they didn't have it, that they don't have a dashboard. They have no idea what their total assets are, or what they're looking at a P&L, and maybe it's on an accrual basis. You really need to see it on a cash flow basis.
Yeah.
So those are some of the challenges and things. There was a study that for last year, 2020, that 40% of small business owners, consider themselves to be financially illiterate.
40%? I think the number 40%. Is higher.
Those are the ones that admitted.
I think the number is higher than that. I think it's about 75 or 80%.
Well, no, I think it might be a little bit because you do have. Okay, no problem, Carlos. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Hey, my brother.
Thank you guys. Great talking to you guys. Look forward to the next one. I just got to hop off, but thank you guys. I appreciate the opportunity again. Always fun with you guys.
Not a problem, man.
Problem.
Thanks, Carlos.
But I do find it especially during the pandemic, so many people were at a loss and they couldn't go to an office and grab some stuff. They were like, they didn't know anything. Yeah. They were just completely like it just amazes me. And I know, like Greg and I are, we're in that financial and accounting industry. But I do know some of the questions I get, and when I'm answering questions, I was talking to a client the other day, and they were filling out application for a form for the SBA, and businesses don't understand, and the reason they don't understand this is because they always commingle their personal and their business, right?
Yeah.
And so when certain forms that you fill out, especially these the relief forms or the monies that were or grants that were being made available to you, or the loans, they want to know about your business. If you're filing for your business, do not tell them your personal.
Right, exactly.
It's about your business. And they kept saying, but I need to explain. So finally I had to tell my client, I said, one of the things that lawyers always say when you go to court, only answer the questions that they ask you. Do not volunteer any information.
Yeah.
And
even though you're tempted.
You're tempted to. And I kept saying, no, do not. This is about your business. You're an LLC, so you have a legal structure. Your business is a separate identity from you. Do not put any of your information. Now, if you are guaranteeing it, they're going to run your credit.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll find out what they need. If they want to ask some questions, let them ask the question. Don't volunteer information. What would you agree with that, Greg?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you have to, you got to be prepared, and you have to have the backup. That's part of it. I think also, a P&L or a balance sheet. A balance sheet is a snapshot. It's a picture of right now, today.
Yeah.
Or maybe not today. The balance sheet might have been as of last month or as of last year.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a static photograph, and that doesn't tell you a whole lot versus looking at a movie. So
it's a selfie for your business. That's what it is. A selfie for your the financial aspect of your business.
It is. It is a snapshot.
Yeah.
It's a snapshot.
And same thing with the P&L, with an income statement. It's historical.
Yeah.
It's like you're driving and you're looking in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
You're right. So if you're paying attention to what's behind you, what's going to happen? You're going to run into something. You're going to run into an obstacle. So I also find that very few business owners are forward looking in terms of financial.
Yeah.
So are they running cash flow out a month, 3 months, 6 months? Do they know some businesses do equal business every month?
Yeah.
And some businesses have a month where they are very busy.
Yeah.
And then they're slow months.
Yeah.
Or they're slow days of the week.
Yeah.
So how do you project that where you're going to have maybe income that's going to drop maybe during the winter months or during Christmas? People cut back on certain things. Yeah. But your expenses don't cut back. They're still, your rent is still the same every month. So how do you project for that? So I think that's a big thing that small business owners aren't looking at or not being financially literate at, is doing forward-looking thinking.
Right.
What are you have some resources that a person that they decide that they do need to embrace and learn more about the financial or their financials and what that looks like to them? You have a course, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I have a seminar, so it's not a course. I'm going to be developing a course. But the first resource is lifesaverfinancial.com.
A nice plug.
310. So yeah, that's the first source. I think it depends on the industry. So most industries have a business association that's helping business owners in their industry. So if you're in a tool manufacturing, or if you're a barbershop, there are like-minded or businesses that are in your same industry that provide wonderful resources. The CDFIs, the PCR, Pacific Coast Region Small Business Administration has a tremendous amount of resources that are available there. There's Source. So 25, 30 years ago, you might have had to search for it. Now, one of the best sources out there is Mother Google.
Mother Google. Yes, Mother Google is good.
Because all you have to do is ask the question, type it in, and you're going to get hundreds of thousands of response. Now, SEO management will put people who are paying to have their information right up front. So you need to have the diligence to scroll down several pages, get past the first 1, 2, or maybe 3 pages, and how many people go 7, 8, 9, 10 pages deep into a search?
Yeah.
Very few. Yeah. But what happens is that the people who have the budget to spend money to optimize their information in Google, because Google is a business, so they're selling that, and you're paying to get your site, to get your information in that first page or that first couple of hits.
Yeah.
So you've got to dig deeper. You've got to dig and not just take that first few responses and keep going through. But there's so many resources. Other than what I offer exactly, there's so many resources that are available and specific to your industry. Right. If you're in a restaurant, there's a restaurant association, and if you go to the restaurant association website, they've got tons of information and links and people that are in that market space to help you. You know, the
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce, your local Chamber of Commerce. I mean, very few. How many businesses belong to their local chamber?
Yeah.
And quite a few chambers. I mean, I with the Inglewood Chamber. There's the Culver City Chamber. There's the Crenshaw Chamber of Commerce. There's the Los Angeles Chamber. There's the airport area. I mean, just naming ones here, you know, in our area, and they provide a lot of resources and information as well. So your local Chamber of Commerce is a great resource.
And I think some of your banks, if you guys have bank accounts and you have banking relationships with your bank, I believe they have some financial literacy programs that you can take advantage of. But it really is important because I think people. I was coaching a client recently, and years and years ago, I guess they had bought some property, didn't quite understand the loan processing or the type of loans, or that you can go back and refi, and I don't know where their, you know, the loan agent was, or the person there that was working with them to not advise them, but ended up selling property, and now, you know, 5-10 years later, looking to buy new property in Los Angeles, which is, you know, astronomical today. And so may not have been the right decision, but if you had an advisor, a financial advisor, or your CPA, or somebody on your team that could give you information to make better decisions, I think it's really important. And I think a lot of our business owners make poor decisions because of their lack of knowledge and understanding.
Yep.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Oh, the FDIC also has some resources. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, I think that's what it stands for, FDIC. They've got resources. Then there's the Source Business or Source Score.
Oh,
not
Score. Yeah.
So I mean, there's tons of information. So there's no absence of information. It's a desire, and that's where my coaching comes in. You know, it's kind of like if you wanted to become financially fit, or if you wanted to improve your nutrition, how much information is out there in terms of diets and nutritions and what have you? I mean, there's tons of information out there, but it's that motivation that gets you going. And a lot of times it's some event that causes it to happen. You know, you go to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you're going to need to, we got your test results, and you're going to need to do X, Y, and Z. So you're like, oh, okay. Well, it's the same thing with your business. You know, if you're starting to run into cash flow problems, or I'll tell you another eye opener that will help you focus on your business is the real nasty woman. Her name is Iris.
She doesn't play, right?
She don't play. Iris comes calling, and
she'll put a lien on your bank account just like that.
Exactly. Or the pandemic called Corona. she also opened up your eyes, and you were trying to figure out where
she won't call you on the phone.
No, they don't call you.
She won't call you on the phone. She's going to write to you, and if you don't answer, she's just going to show up.
Right, exactly. So all of these things, I know that I had clients asking more detailed information since the pandemic, really wanting to know where their money was. And I think even back there during the recession, when the stock market crashed and people were losing their pension funds and so forth, I think they became much more aware, and not just letting someone tell you what is in your pension fund and how much money. Now they're actually following it, so they can make better decisions. It's so important to understand your financial wellness in both your personal life as well as your business life.
Absolutely. And go through your bank statements and your credit card statements and know what every entry is. I do that periodically, and I think after a while, you drop it or you move on. All of a sudden, something sneaks in, and so COVID hit my pocketbook. So the revenue dropped considerably, and so now I'm going through. I was like, okay, what's this $4.99 a month? Now, ordinarily $5 a month. Like, oh, okay, what is this? I don't remember that. And
Right.
it was some free thing that you got 12 months. I think it was credit reporting. We wanted the credit reporting things.
Yeah.
And I had, I think, 12 months free, and then all of a sudden the charge shows up. And I look back and it had been going on for like 7 months.
Oh,
But
that
believe it
happens.
or not, I called them.
Yeah.
And I don't remember agreeing to that. And they refunded 6 of the months.
Yeah, because it's that fine print. I know it happened to me. I think Vistaprint. I don't know how I had ordered some business cards and must have, how you have to be careful when you're reading the fine print, and must have clicked something, and they had was charging me $9.99 for a website that I didn't have with them. And I had to go back and get them to take it off. I actually have some tools. One I use is called Truebill, and it will send me notifications of all monies that have come through my account or about to come through my account, and so that I can go in and review. So because you forget, you might do a free trial, and if they ask for a credit card, forget, you put it in there thinking, okay, I'll come back and I'll cancel it, and you don't cancel it. So you're spending, absorbent amounts of money for something that you're not using. So you do need to be cognizant of things like that, because that does happen. But if you have an accounting system and you're a business, then you should be going through your expenses on a daily and monthly basis. And these programs are set up so that you can reconcile almost daily. But here's the thing. We all trust our banks, and we don't think our banks will do anything that like deduct money that they shouldn't be, or deposit money in your account that shouldn't be in there. And there's a couple of banks out there. I've been doing bookkeeping for a long time. There's one bank in particular that makes quite a few errors. So you truly do want to go and monitor your expenses going out and even coming in. We just make an assumption that we can trust them because they're a financial institution and they're all supposed to be correct. Not so true.
In the old days, people used to rob banks.
Yeah.
Now the banks rob you. Greg, what's your phone number? What's your contact number, Greg?
310-692-5707.
And trust me, $4.99 and $9.99 does add up over the years.
I'm putting it up on the chat so they can access you.
Yeah.
Okay?
In fact, what is the most dangerous word out there when it comes to money?
What is it?
Free.
Because
yeah.
that draws you in, right?
It draws you in.
Mm-hmm.
Because if something's free, you're paying for it or somebody else is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So anytime something is free, or it's free this or free that, that should be an eye opener to you to say, because there are some things that are legitimately free. I mean, and they're value added things that the company is offering, or it's being paid for by the government, or some associations, something is someone or something is providing the funding for it. So there are some things that are legitimately free, but the word free is being used because everybody wants free stuff.
Yeah.
And so psychologically, you see something free, you're like, okay, that's great. But then that little fine print at the bottom says, promotional time or something, and then after that, it starts kicking in, and they sneak it in. And now, especially since you don't see it on paper, it's very easy for things to start piling up. Subscription services.
Yeah.
When you look at it, all right, you're subscribing to Netflix and Hulu, and it started off at $9.99 a month, You know, I've got a few things that were $9.99 a month, and now you blink and it's like, wait a minute, now it's $15.99 a month.
Right, exactly. Well, like you just said with your Spectrum. Now, did you get your, Spectrum just got a stimulus package, and so they are dropping everything down to $59.
Yeah, I don't.
No, I got to fight and fuss with every now and then. I have to fight and fuss with them, and then what I don't like is that they give you 12-month pricing. So they satisfy you for 12 months, and then while you're not paying attention, that bill creeps back up again. And I don't know why they just don't say, you know what, here's our pricing. All right. So if it's going to be $49 and then you take it up to $79, then just make it the $60 or $65. Let's just keep it there, as opposed to luring me in for 12 months. So I've got my Spectrum bill right here somewhere, and I've got to call them, and because I've noticed now it's creeped back up, and I must have gotten.
Well, I just read something recently that they got some stimulus money in order to help out during the pandemic, and so they reduced everyone's package to $59 until the stimulus money runs out. So make sure you call. Another thing I just read, Experian is now for your credit score. With Experian, they've partnered up with them. So if you're paying a Hulu or a Netflix, they will now start applying that to your credit score to help you boost up your credit score.
Yeah, I don't trust those people, man. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off right now because I gotta have an appointment in 1 minute.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Greg. We so appreciate you, and we will see you the next time. Everyone have a great weekend and be safe out there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Okay, Gilbert, hit the
it's almost happy hour.
No, outro.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.